Hello everyone, my name's George or Patchy. Welcome back to the channel. I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you've probably watched the video where I showed the renovation of my house. A lot of people were asking how much it all cost, how much it cost to buy the house, how much it cost to renovate it, and also what's in this cupboard here. So I thought I would do this video just answering all of the most frequently asked questions, and that's pretty much it. So let's jump into it. So the first one is, why am I called Patchy? I introduce my videos as George or Patchy, and my Instagram handle is @Patchy, and that's because you can probably see I have white hair. I was born with that, so everyone has just called me Patchy throughout my life because I'm patchy. So that's why I'm called Patchy. The other thing that a lot of people were getting wrong, I guess, was where I'm from. I'm from Scotland, in a little village about 30 miles north of Edinburgh. For some reason people thought I was from Ireland or Wales. I think there was a website that published my video and they said I was from Wales, but I'm not. I'm from like 30 miles north of Edinburgh. Here's some footage of a walk I went on yesterday. It was a glorious day. So yeah, it's a nice area to live in. So jumping into the main questions that people wanted to know, which were how long it took and how much it cost. So I'll start with the how long it took. The builder was the first one in, and he started on the 2nd of January last year, and I was moved in by December. All of the contractors, I don't know why I said that weird, contractors, were done by about September, with the exception of the blacksmith who did the stair railing. So the joiner, the plumber, the electrician and the builder were all done by September, and then there was a couple of months where nothing really happened, and then the blacksmith came in like November to fit the stair railing, and then my dad did the cobbles outside in November and December, and then that was it done. It was all furnished, all completed. So yeah, a year in total to do the whole renovation. The costs, this is the part that people are obviously very excited about. I'm going to throw up the spreadsheet on the screen right now, and you can pause it and see sort of more in depth about the different parts. But it was $55,386 to buy the house. It was $62,708 for all of the contracting work, which is like the structural work, the build work, just everything. Electricians, plumber, joinery, that all came to $62,708. Solicitors and admin fees were $11,968. And then the kind of fittings that weren't included on the build work, like the kitchen, the windows, the doors, and the furnishing, which is like my bed, my sofa, my TV, all of that came to $19,462. And the one that was really painful, even though it's the lowest cost here, was the water and sewer connection, which was $8,319. That was just crazy. That included $2,300 just for closing the road. So overall it cost £157,844.46. And I had a real estate agent come in just a couple of weeks ago to basically just estimate how much, or value how much the house is now worth, and they said it's worth $155,000. So I went like $2,800 out with what it's worth now, which for ending up with a house that I have chosen every little aspect of and made it exactly how I want it, I think that's quite a good deal, and I'm quite happy with that. So you can let me know what you think. Like I said, you can pause the video before and kind of I don't know, ask questions about the different prices that I paid. So some of the other questions people had were obviously what's in that door there. So I'll show you right now. It's where the boiler is, where my brushes are for just tidying the house up, and where the mop is. And you can see I have a really thin electric boiler, and that's what I use for the heating system in this house, which was something that a lot of people asked about. So hopefully that answers everyone's question about that mystery. So another big question that people had was, am I going to do another renovation project, and would I film it more and put it on this channel? And of course I will, that's my plan. I'd quite like to do what I did with this house again with another place, so if you're interested in that, then subscribe. But another thing I'm going to do is actually going to go around Scotland and stay in tiny houses or visit tiny houses that other people have built, and basically just interview the owners about their process, about their costs, about their favorite bits and worst parts from their projects, so that hopefully it's becomes like a really interesting channel for people who like tiny houses and are interested in doing it themselves and kind of want to know all about the financials of it. So if you want to see me visit tiny houses all over Scotland, different renovation projects, then again, subscribe, and that's something I'll have in the future. So a couple of the other kind of quick fire questions that people had were, how old is the building? And I don't know exactly, but I do know that it has been around since the 1700s. On the back of that question, people were also asking, what did the building used to be? And it used to be a kind of religious book creating or distributing place. So apparently this guy called James Robertson would bind and distribute Bibles and other religious texts downstairs. So it's a blessed building. Another question people had was, do I have a garden? Unfortunately, I don't. That's one thing that I am missing from this house and would like to get with the next house that I buy. But there's loads of nice parks and walks around this area, so I'm not stuck for places to go when it's a nice day like today. People also want to know, why is the upstairs downstairs? Usually it's more common to have the bedroom upstairs. To be honest, it just worked better having all of the workspace, the living space, just the space that I actually spend my most time in upstairs, in the brightest and kind of most open part of the house. It's got a nice view out of that window behind me, so it just made sense to have all of the places that I actually spend most of my day in upstairs with the most light and the best view, like I said. One huge complaint that I got frequently that people really hated me for was covering up the stone walls and blocking up the fireplaces. The reason that that had to be done was for insulation, because it just gets so cold in Scotland in the winter, and to be honest, most of the year. Summer's like a 1 month affair, so that needed to be done. And the fireplaces and the chimneys inside the wall were really unstable. I can't remember what the builder actually used to do this, but he had to fill up the walls on that side of the house because they were so hollow and just unstable, and it would obviously be a nightmare if that collapsed whilst living in it. So that's why the fireplace had to get covered up. I did inquire at the start about leaving the walls exposed, but it just wasn't doable because I needed to insulate it. So that's why that happened. I'm sorry to anyone I offended with that. People were not happy with me sort of ruining the character of the building, I guess, is what a lot of people said. But it is what it is. And another question people had was, how big is the house? So altogether, it's 37 meters squared, which is 400 square feet. So that's pretty much all of the questions that people had. If you have more questions or you want more detail about the things that I've spoken about in this video, then just drop a comment down below and I'll respond to you. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.